The TSP has made a lot of changes, but did they fix everything? Are there still some shortcomings that make it possibly not the best place for you to manage your money? This isn't meant to be a video bashing the TSP, but as you're planning for your retirement, you want to use whatever resources you have available that best help you achieve your goals. If some of these things that the TSP didn't fix, now if they're a big deal for you, then you may want to go with some other arrangements. Let's go over the 8 things that the TSP didn't fix, coming up next. Hey, this is Mel Stubbs. I'm a financial planner at Christy Capital Management, and we're here bringing good content to you. So please click the like, subscribe if you want to get more information like this. The first thing that would be nice if you could do in the TSP is if you could have unlimited reallocations and fund transfers. Now, here are the rules straight off the TSP website. Each calendar month, you can use your first 2 reallocations and fund transfers to redistribute money in your account among any of the TSP funds. After the first 2, of either transaction type, you can only move money into the G fund. So this means that you really can only make 2 transactions a month, and then the only way to get a 3rd transaction a month would be moving it to the G fund. Now, does this come up a lot? Possibly not. But it would be nice if you had control of your money and you were able to allocate it however you wanted to, as many times as you may need. I think this could be a problem. The next problem is one we've always talked about with the TSP. And even with the new update, they still didn't fix it, even though they probably think they did. So what is it? It's the limited investment options. Well, you may say, wait, with the new changes, we now have access to the mutual fund window. And that window was set up to provide greater investment flexibility. But here are some of the details straight off the TSP website. If your account meets eligibility criteria, still not sure what that is, you can choose to access a selection of more than 5,000 mutual funds. Well, that sounds great, but there will be a $55 annual fee to use the window. There's a $95 annual maintenance fee, and then there's a $28.75 per trade fee, and other fees and expenses specific to choosing mutual funds will also be applied. Your investment would have to be at least $10,000, and then here's the fine print. You may not invest more than 25% of your total account in the mutual fund window. That's right. That right there limits the number of investment options. Let's say you have a $400,000 TSP balance. Then you can only invest $100,000 of it through the mutual fund window. You're still limited in your investment options for the majority of your money, even after this fix. The next problem that still was not addressed and is still not fixed is the fact that you are not able to choose which fund your distributions come from. If you set up a $1,000 a month distribution from the TSP, the money will come out pro rata from the different funds that you're invested in. Now, there are situations and scenarios where you would not want it to come out pro rata. One of the benefits of a buy and hold strategy is that you buy the stock market, let's say like the C fund, and you hold on to it. And if the stock market goes down, it's unfortunate, but it's not the end of the world because you haven't sold it yet. The idea is that it will rebound and come back by the time you have to sell it. But if you're taking distributions on a monthly basis from the TSP, and the distributions are coming out proportionally from each of the funds, then you will be selling when the market's down if you're taking a monthly distribution. And so I did a video in the past on this issue and showed the math behind it. There again, is this problem, does it show up every month? No, it probably doesn't. But during the COVID crash a couple of years ago, the rule of taking distributions out proportionally would have cost you some money. Depending on what distribution size you were taking, it could have cost you a good size amount of money. This makes the TSP very cumbersome to manage distributions in retirement. Being forced to sell the stock market when it's down can lower your overall returns, and over the long haul, that can be costly. Now, is any account perfect? Is there a 401k out there that's perfect? Is there an IRA out there that's perfect? Nothing out there is perfect, but there are a handful of things that make the TSP not ideal when you're facing retirement. When you have 8 things that make it not ideal, that are not the hugest deal by themselves, but when you group them together, it can make the TSP burdensome. If you're 59 and a half and over, or if you've retired, you can move your money out of the IRA and avoid these issues. Now, do IRAs have some issues? I'm sure they do. You need to find one that will work best for you. Some view potential higher fees that are in IRAs to be an issue. I view proper planning and the avoiding of these 8 problems worth paying some fees. And keep in mind the new mutual fund window has extra fees associated with it. What features are you looking for? What help do you want? it may be that the TSP is not the best place to manage your retirement. Let's move on with the rest of the list. The next issue deals with how the government manages the G Fund. Here's an article dated August 4th, 2021 entitled Treasury Suspends Investments into the TSP's G Fund and More. The article states that the Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen informed Congress this week that her department would cease its investment in the 3 federal retirement programs as part of its extraordinary measures intended to delay running into the debt ceiling. It goes on to say that they would suspend investments in the Civil Service Retirement and Disability Fund. Well, that sounds scary. The Postal Service Retiree Health Benefits Fund. Yikes. And the TSP plans G Fund, which is made up of the government securities, to avoid breaching the debt ceiling. Yellen stressed that these measures were temporary. Now, it does say by law the G Fund will be made whole once the debt limit is increased or suspended, and federal retirees' employees will not be affected by these actions. Now, the government has done this many times in the past, and to their credit, they've always paid back the money. But most people that are investing in the G Fund, they're doing so because they want to be conservative with the money. Do you really want your money that's earmarked for being conservative to be going to fund government activities because they can't manage the debt ceiling? If this is a problem for you, you can move your money out into an IRA and invest it however you want to with confidence, knowing that the government's not going to be dipping into your account to fund its spending. Now, when I first learned of this, I thought it was crazy that this is what they do. To me, this is a problem. What do you think about it? Feel free to share your comments and opinions below in the comments section. Also, if you're getting value out of this video, please consider subscribing so you can continue to get content just like this. If you're looking for a financial planning firm that knows your federal benefits, please reach out to us at christycapital.com. Now, another problem is you don't have a dedicated advisor that can work with you to help in planning for your retirement. Now, if you go to tsp.gov, in the section where they're going over the new features, they talk about a personalized support for rolling over money to your TSP account. But they still don't have advice on how you should invest, how you should plan for taxes, how you should plan for the untimely death of your spouse. None of that. The TSP is set up for the do-it-yourselfer, for someone who's self-advised. If you don't understand finances, if you don't understand investments, then the TSP is not tailored to you. You might benefit from working with someone individually that knows your needs, that knows the goals that you want to accomplish, and that can help lead you down the path to accomplishing them. Now, another shortcoming of the TSP and the mutual fund window, in fact, is that you can't make immediate trades. When you put in a trade, you have to wait until 4 p.m. after trading has ended for your request to go through. Now, if the stock market is crashing and you want to get out and it's 10 o'clock in the morning, well, you're out of luck. Any trade you put in will not be carried out that day. And this is the same for mutual funds. Whether you're in an IRA or in the TSP, mutual funds have the same problem. If you use an ETF, an exchange traded fund, they act like mutual funds, yet they give you the flexibility to be able to sell them during the trading day. You don't have to wait until 4 p.m. Is this a huge deal every day of the year? No. But a couple times a year, could this be a big deal? It probably could. Now, another problem the TSP didn't fix with this new update was giving you the ability to do Roth conversions inside of the TSP. We talk on this channel a lot about tax planning and shifting money to Roth. Roth converting is when you choose to go ahead and pay the tax on a portion of your traditional IRA balance and you shift it to a Roth IRA. Once you do the shift, the money that's in the Roth IRA can now grow tax-free. If you think your taxes are going to get worse in the future, this is a way to pre-plan to offset that. Now, the TSP does not give you that option. If you realize that you have more traditional money than you need to have, or that you want to have more Roth than you do have, you're limited in how you can fix that inside the TSP. As you approach retirement, this can be a big issue. To me, this one item is a deal breaker. Let's assume the stock market continues to grow at the long-term average that it's done in the past. Would you rather pay taxes on your current balance, or would you rather pay taxes on whatever your balance is going to be 10 years from now? If you see value in paying taxes on today's smaller balance as opposed to 10 years from now from the potentially larger balance, then you would want to do a Roth conversion. But you can't do it inside the TSP. If this is important to you, you will need to roll the money out of the TSP and into an IRA. You can do this once you've turned 59.5 years old if you're still working, or you can do this once you've retired at any age. We help lots of clients do this. We help them roll money out of the TSP and into an IRA. We help them pick out investments that are suitable for them. In an IRA, there are tons of potential investment options. We've already talked about how there are limited options inside the TSP. Then we can help you by getting a copy of your tax return and estimate where on the tax bracket you're going to end up this year. We'll be able to show you how much room you have in that bracket where you could Roth convert and stay in the current tax bracket that you're in. Roth converting is a year-by-year process that doesn't happen overnight, but over a 5 or 6 year period, you can move a large amount of money to a tax-free account. This can make a big difference. Another problem that wasn't fixed was your ability to do a qualified charitable distribution from the TSP. It's just not allowed. Well, what in the world is a qualified charitable distribution? This is where you can give money to a church or charity directly from your IRA and not pay taxes on it. If you're charitably minded, and if you're given to charity already, you may not be getting the tax deduction for it. And why is that? Well, the standard deduction has been increased over the years. In 2022, for a single filer, it's $12,950. And for married filing jointly, it's $25,900. Now, you are still able to itemize your deductions if they add up to more than $25,900 for a married couple. But if they're less than that, then you would just take the standard deduction. For a lot of people, the standard deduction ends up being more than their itemized deduction. But then that means you're not being able to write off your charitable giving, and it's no longer tax deductible on your taxes. So would there be a way where you could take the standard deduction and be able to write off your charitable giving and your tithing? Well, if you are 70 and a half years old or over, you can do a qualified charitable distribution where you give money directly from the IRA to the church or charity. That amount would go directly to the church or charity and not be taxed. Now, there is a $100,000 a year limit on this, but what if you're 70 and a half and all of your money's in the TSP? Well, you'd be out of luck. They don't allow you to do this. Now, is this a problem that will affect everyone? Probably not. But if you're charitably minded, if you're consistently giving to your church, this is something that you can take advantage of once you're 70 and a half if you do good planning. Most do-it-yourselfers who are self-advised, they probably don't know this rule and would not take advantage of it. One of the goals we have at Christy Capital Management is to help our clients free up money where they can charitably give it away to the causes that are important to them. This is a way to take advantage of how the tax code is written. The TSP doesn't let you take advantage of it. And just as a reminder, no plan is perfect. Every investment or strategy has its good points and its drawbacks. But this is your retirement. What works best for you so you can have the best plan for your retirement. If you find that some of these things are troubling and you want to talk to somebody about a different way to plan for retirement and manage your money, please reach out to Christy Capital Management. For over a decade, we've worked with federal employees and federal retirees planning for retirement. And if you want to hear about what your other options could be besides the TSP and how they compare with the TSP, go to christycapital.com. Give me a call on the number on your screen. I'd love to talk over your options with you as it relates to planning for your retirement. My name is Mel Stubbs. I'll see you on the next video. We need to do the proper disclaimers. The purpose of this video is not to give specific tax advice or investment advice. We're going over general principles and ideas that can be used, and if used correctly, can save and avoid taxes. You're going to want to work with someone personally who knows your situation personally. So seek out advice from an independent financial advisor. This is for educational purposes only. I hope you enjoyed the video.